Hey friends, Irene Lyon here. Welcome to this video, to this channel, and to this world of healing trauma, nervous system health, and all things neuroplasticity. A little while ago, quite a few years ago now, one of my favorite teachers, Kathy Kane, I actually did an interview with her a while ago. I'll link it below. It's a wonderful talk. What she said to us in class was something along the lines of, when we wake up in the morning, we just want to get on with our day. That's kind of a code word or code saying for regulation, nervous system regulation. Real nervous system regulation means that we don't need to have an entire toolbox of management and coping and routines and strategies that we need to put in place throughout our day to be in the world and to feel settled and calm or energized, awake, alert, and come down at night. We really want to be able to get up in the morning, feel refreshed, eat if we're hungry, don't eat if we're not, listen to our bodies, and get on with our work, our parenting, our creativities, whatever it is that we do in our daily life. But so often, and this is sort of just what's been created, I think, in the last 20, 30 or so years, 40 years maybe even, are a lot of practices, a lot of tools, a lot of somatic methodologies, mind-body work, etc., that have helped us, that have actually helped us stay contained and calm and settled so that we can do our day, so we can be in our world, all the things that humans do in current time. And I wanted to make this video because there's sometimes confusion around something that we do to calm ourselves and needing that something to calm ourselves versus just being able to be regulated and calm, and I say that quote unquote, without needing that thing. And this could be the use of breath work. It could be the use of strategies where we, for instance, EFT, very, very popular technique. I have nothing against breath work or EFT when they're used for a specific purpose of maybe settling the system or calming it down. But please know that if we're needing to do something, if we're needing to add something in extra to bring our nervous system down, to calm ourselves down, then we are not in fact internally self-regulated at that autonomic nervous system level. This can be very confusing when we are someone who was born into the world with a lot of early trauma, developmental trauma. Maybe our environmental situation was such that we were never safe. Maybe parents, mom, dad, were not regulated in their own system, and so they didn't know how to attune with us, co-regulate with us, and teach us as little humans what we would call self-regulation. I'm not going to get into all the branches of the vagus nerve and self-regulation and co-regulation and early trauma in this video. I will link a couple of those below somewhere near this video so you can go and watch those, because I want to keep this fairly short because it's fairly simple. So to reiterate what I've just said, if we need something always, or for the most part, to calm us down, if we're feeling something overwhelmed and we instantly have to do an action, if we have to take a breath, if we have to do something behaviorally to bring our system down, and it's done deliberately, consciously, with that thought, okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I better do this. It's a very strong, it's a big indication, a large indication, however you want to call it, that the system doesn't know how to self-regulate. Because if we do know how to self-regulate at that autonomic nervous system level, then we don't have to think it, because autonomic nervous system means automatic. It just happens. And so when we gain solid nervous system regulation into our system as adults, and we can, that's why I start these logs off with all things neuroplasticity, we can rewire, we can grow the nervous systems that we didn't have wired when we were young, because we didn't have that good early environment, that good primary wiring. If we didn't get it, if you're watching this video and if you can click on a phone and type and talk and be in the world to a relatively good degree, then you have the capacity to rewire and re-regulate and get regulation back on board for the first time maybe in your entire life. But it will not happen when every time we feel an intensity, we put some kind of system in place to calm ourselves down. A big part of this work is gaining, obviously, the education, the capacity, the skills, the mastery to actually be with the real intense stuff and not calm it down. I've often used the reference surf the tsunami wave of intensity, but we're not going to want to surf that wave if we still don't know how to swim or wade in the water or be on little tiny waves on a baby surfboard, for example. So to come back to the beginning of this, just a note that I'm not against these management and coping strategy practices. Sometimes they are wonderful, right? I've talked often in the past about ice bathing, and a lot of folks think that I'm against it. I have a cold plunge in my home, but I'm not using it every day to get my system going. I'm not using it to calm my system down, for example. I'm using it in a more hydrotherapeutic, lymphatic way to help my system just be in a good healing mode. But when I go into that bath, for example, it is not in a sense to override my system. I don't tense, I don't go into an alert. I only go in if I know my system can stay regulated. I'm not using it as a means to gain regulation. My system is already regulated. I'm using it as a hydrotherapeutic technique to help my old injuries and various other things that I won't get into today. I'll do another video on hydrotherapy some other time. But I'm not opposed to these things like breath work, for example. I've done EFT. I've obviously been in cold baths, but I'm here to say if that is what we need every day to calm ourselves down or stimulate ourselves, and we can only achieve that with these external practices, then our system is not in good nervous system regulation. It is in some form of, we could say, dysregulation, and we're searching for that strategy, that mechanism, that thing, that action to bring us either out of arousal and sympathetic fight or flight, or bring us up and out of what we would call high tone dorsal, which is the shutdown, freeze, collapse mode that so many of us live in when we're living in, say, a deep depression, severe anxiety, severe chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, those sorts of syndromal characteristics. So again, nothing wrong with using some strategies and external resources, but my interest here and what I do when I work with my students is to help them gain the capacity, gain the foundation and the capacity to be with the intensities slowly over time so they can learn this new language of nervous system regulation so they can, in fact, as my teacher Kathy Kane has once said, wake up in the morning and just go about their day without not needing these things to get through their day. All right, I hope this has been useful. I hope this has clarified a few things. Just wanted to spell out a few things that are obvious to me, but obviously might not be obvious to you if you're new here and if you haven't worked with me at a deeper level. Bottom line, as I said, we all have the capacity to gain nervous system regulation, even when we didn't get it when we were young. It takes time. It can happen. It is a very healing and opening, freeing process when we get this on board, and we really can just wake up and go about our day. So I want that for everyone. I want that for you. Again, if you are new here, be sure to subscribe to this channel somewhere near this video. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified when I pop these videos up and go live. And if you haven't joined my email list, also be sure to do that. We send out emails every week giving you these videos, but also any other offerings that I'm offering throughout the month. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next time.